Sometimes we have a data set that looks like this. Let me remove all the decimal places. All right. Now we have 12 months, and for each of the 12 months, we have the value of 17 subcategories. Now, if you try to create a chart, it's going to look like this. And you can't really blame Excel because there is so many data point available that it doesn't really know how to plot each one of them. When you have a very large data set like this, it is recommended to use a heat map. A heat map is a graphical representation of data that uses color coding. And this is how it looks. You can either use a single color or you can use multiple colors as well. How do we do this? For this, we're not going to use a chart, but we will use conditional formatting. The first thing I'll do is to select all the numbers, click on Home, Conditional Formatting, click on Color Scales, and we can choose any one of these color scales. So the first one is green, yellow, red, and the next one is red, yellow, green. Just so that you can see the colors properly, I will put random numbers between -500 and +500 like this. And this is how a heat map appears. I will also give you some tips as to how you can present it to the user. I personally like to have my heat map without the numbers. Now, if you search online every once in a while, you will notice people do use numbers, but most of the time the numbers are not kept. The idea of a heat map is only to show the heat areas, areas that have a lot of green and areas that have a lot of red. Nobody is going to read every single number. To hide the number, you can right click, go to format cells, and then in custom, in the type, just put 3 semicolons. Once you put 3 semicolons and press OK, all the numbers will be hidden from the cell. If you look in the formula bar, the number is very much there, but it will not be visible to the user. Another change that I usually like to make is to make sure that all of these cells are squares and not rectangles. So I will keep the width as, let's say, 15. In fact, let's make it 10. And I'll keep the height as 20. In fact, let's make it a little bit more. Let's try 50. Okay, excellent. So what I've done is I have kept a width of 10. So the column width is 10 and the height is 50. And now you notice that all of this can be represented as this nice big square. And if you want to, you can just copy and paste this in PowerPoint. And remember, if any of these numbers change, for example, if these were 450, then obviously the colors would change as well, right? So this is also dynamic, which means that if in the future more numbers come in, the colors will change automatically. Excellent way of presenting your data. If you want to not use multiple colors, you can even use a single color. So let me just copy this entire block, paste it one more time, and we will keep the same width as earlier. This time we want to select, go to conditional formatting, and I will edit my rule that I have applied. And we will say we don't want a graded color scale from green to red. I will edit it and I will say that the lowest value should be, let's say, a very light shade of blue. Then we have a slightly darker shade in the middle. And then finally, we have a dark blue. Let me make this even lighter. And I think that should be okay. Let's make this a little darker. Yeah. Now when you press OK, you will get a heat map like this. Again, whether you want to use a monochromatic or whether you want to use a multicolored is completely up to you. You can have at most 3 colors. You can even keep only 2 colors or you can keep a single color.